What is up, YouTube? It's Brad and Travis with Home Slice Disc Golf. What are we reviewing today, sir?
I think I know. It's
Okay.
the Dynamic Discs Verdict and the
Prodigy M1, Battle of the Overstable Middies.
Enjoy.
All right, the rim comparisons here. The M1 is a little bit domier than the Verdict as far as the rim goes. This rim on the M1 is very, very sharp. It is really not comfortable for me. It's not going to look in this video. I don't think it's going to show up quite as sharp as it actually is, but it is really, really steep and really sharp. Here, it's going to be a little bit more rounded. You can kind of see that difference there. It's a little bit more blunt on the edge of this of the Verdict. The Verdict is definitely more comfortable in the hand.
Starting off with the Prodigy M1. Speed 5, glide 4, turn of 0, and a fade of 3. Numbers to me on the Travis scale, it's pretty spot on, maybe a little less fade, but anyways, onto the disc. Slight headwind, as you can tell. You throw this thing into a headwind, it's going to fade out at the end if you give it enough air. So you throw it on a hyzer, no wind, it's going to hold the hyzer. Throw it flat, if you throw it hard enough, it will flip an S-curve for you. If you throw it on ante, it'll just hold the ante, maybe dump out at the end. Headwind is going to make it a little less stable. So, you know what I mean? Just maybe put a little hyzer on it when you're throwing into a headwind, and it's going to be a pretty straight disc. When it came to forehand, this disc did not fit very well in my hand. I know I've complained about that a lot, but I'm particular on the disc when it comes to forehand. Just didn't get the best releases. This disc for forehand was great for hyzer flips though. When I did get the clean releases, it went straight, really, really straight, and then it dumped out at the end. Very predictable. Ante, it worked really well too. On to the Dynamic Discs Verdict. The numbers on this are 5, 4, 0, 3.5. I'd say those numbers aren't spot on, but I'd give it, a glide of 5. It's got a lot of glide, guys and girls. It also has a fade, I'd say, of about 2.5. Other than that, onto the disc, very straight disc, but no wind. Throw it on a hyzer, it ends on a hyzer. You throw it straight on a line, it holds it. It's got a good bit of high speed stability, whereas the M1 would flip on me. This one didn't seem to, but it went far, guys. I've seen it. That bio is more stable, brand new. I throw it on ante and it ends up dumping out anyways, and I was ripping on it. This disc, the pink one's a little more beat in. You can really hyzer flip it into a headwind. Tailwind is just going to be a little bit more stable. Forehand, this one felt better in my hand, so I got a lot better releases. Hyzer flip to flat, and it dumps at the end. The bio is a little bit more stable, like I said, so it dumps a little earlier. Great disc.
All right, the Prodigy M1. We had the 400G plastic and the 750. The 400G, it was a little bit less stable, so it turned a little bit more than the 750. They both had some pretty decent low speed fade, but like the 750G, it flew pretty straight, and then it dumps relatively hard into a headwind. Somebody my arm speed. I don't think you really have to worry about it. At least that 750, I don't think you have to worry about it turning over. The 400, it might turn over, but I'm sure it would fade out at the end. On an ante, just like into a headwind, it'll fight out of it, hyzer it. It'll just ride that hyzer the whole way. It's not quite as comfortable in the hand, but the flight, it gets a pretty good flight. It's a nice overstable MIDI. Okay, so the Verdict, we had it in the Biofusion and in the Lucid. The Lucid was a little bit less stable, but it also is a little bit more beat in. The Biofusion is still pretty fresh. This is a very good, pretty stable mid-range. It's not like just as stable or anything like that, but you'll be able to get some distance with it. It'll fly pretty straight for you. You might get a little bit of a high-speed, like positive turn. At least with my arm speed, I got a little bit, as you can kind of see there, but you're gonna get a nice dump at the end. If you put it on an Annie, it'll fight out of it. If you hyzer it, it's gonna. I mean, you might be able to flip it up, but most people with similar arm speed to me, it's just gonna hyzer out the whole way. It's a very good stable mid range. It's got a ton of glide. It's very glidey from a standstill. I was still getting pretty decent distance with it. It's much more glidey than what the M1 is, and it's a little bit more comfortable in the hand. But it is a very nice, pretty stable mid-range if you're not looking for something that's just super hoggy. It's recap time.
We're live.
So, the M1 and the Verdict. What was your verdict?
My verdict was that I'm going with the Verdict. This disc just had more glide. I could control it better grip. Like the plastics. I actually knew the plastics. I actually have no idea about Prodigy plastics. I don't know any of the stuff on them, whatever. More glide, like I said. I could forehand it better. So I just had to go with the Verdict. They pretty much won in everything, every category.
So I went with the Verdict as well. It was a lot more comfortable. I don't know. This is just not very comfortable. It's really sharp. It doesn't feel great in the hand. Somebody might like it. I mean, the flights are very similar. The Verdict is a little bit more glidey, but I don't know. It's just not very comfortable.
I think if you like the Rock 3, where it's got that sharp kind of big bead, you will like the M1.
Yeah, this isn't a bead, but it might as well be. It's just very sharp. So yeah.
Real quick, the plastics are nice though, Prodigy. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them. The plastics are nice. They're premium plastics.
I really like the feel of the 750 plastic. It feels awesome. When I got this, I was really hoping that it was gonna be what I wanted, because I love the feel of the plastic, but it's not as glidey as that. I don't bag a Verdict. Like we kind of said in another video, the Verdict kind of flies similarly to the MD3. And that's what I currently have in my bag. But the Prodigy plastic, this 750 is awesome. It just does not feel very good.
What would that? Sorry, this is actually the Verdicts are in my bag. This is probably my go-to mid-range. Love it for hyzer flips, straight shots, hyzer shots. What would that replace in your bag or not replace in your bag?
This is kind of, I would compare it to like a Buzz OS.
A little less stable.
Yeah, depending on the plastic of the Buzz OS, I think this could be, I think it'd be similar because it doesn't have quite the same glide as what that Verdict does, which I think would be pretty consistent with the Buzzes, or the Buzz OS. One thing that is nice about these plastics is there was a little bit more difference between the two, between the 400G and the 750, as far as the flights go. So you could have one mold that covers that more stable shot and then a little bit straighter of a shot, so that's always nice. I mean, at least I think so. Some
Yeah.
people don't like that, but so that
Less
is
molds.
yeah, that is something that you could get with these, whereas the dynamic plastics seem to be a little bit more consistent with flights.
Biofusion's just more stable, right? That's it.
Yeah.
It beats in faster.
So yeah, somebody could definitely like this. Anybody could use any of these, any level of player. It's a very useful disc for anybody. It's just it's just preference, really. The flights are similar. More glide with the Verdict. I like the feel of the Verdict better. Trav likes the feel of the Verdict better. That's it. Like us on Instagram. We'll be doing a giveaway on there. Hold off. Subscribe. Comment. Let us know what you want to see.
See ya!
See ya.